kind of unfair being a Carlton fan at the moment, man.
You G'd up the chat pre-game, tried to G up the boys.
I'm a bit temperamental, aren't I? In that chat?
Yeah. It's like, guys, I'm not watching
down.
this.
Yeah.
I'm going out instead.
Look, to be truthful, I didn't watch the full game, but I watched a lot of it, kind of on the phone, on the fly. Yeah, it's getting to the point again, and you guys will probably understand this being North fans over the last couple of years. You know, you start to get a little bit apathetic to the kind of result, and you kind of go, oh, whatever. Like on Friday night, I realized I screwed up my Supercoach emergencies, and I was so gutted about that. I didn't even care that they lost. Like I actually felt physically ill because I'd ruined my top 1% performance.
Davidson,
and then like I had forgotten about Carlton lose. It's like, oh, Carlton lost. Oh, Davidson, 130 on the not emergency, right? So that kind of shows you where you're at, if that's kind of where your focus is.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty bad.
If you ask why, well, man, I don't know what the stat is, but I think it's 2 wins in 12 or 2 wins in 13 games. That record is almost as bad as any team in the comp.
And again, we mentioned
it might be the worst, or it might be, I don't know how it goes to West Coast.
We mentioned
West Coast.
Yeah, we mentioned it last week. Those 2 wins were against North and West Coast.
That's right. And we've got you guys in a couple of weeks, and I'm not probably the first time that we've done over the podcast that you might get a win, and I wouldn't be surprised, right?
So the other 2 teams that are on 0 wins is Melbourne and West Coast.
Yeah.
And so you guys are 16th. So hey, there you go. Something to be positive about. Yeah. You're number 1 of the bad teams.
With no first round draft pick this year.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, true. Hey, mate, another team without a first round pick. I'm pretty sure Melbourne. Did they trade their pick
to
Essendon so they can get, like, they ended up with the Lindsay Harvey Langford sweepstakes? Shout out to Essendon for that. But anyway, digress. Back to Carlton.
Yeah, I mean, Carlton trading where obviously they traded for Jagger, but their expectations were obviously that they weren't going to finish super low, and we'll see where they end up falling. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much to kind of unpack about this game. And you guys, obviously I'm a Carlton supporter, so you're looking to me to give you some explanation of why they suck. And I don't think I've got anything for you, man, because every game that we watch, we get a little bit more evidence that they're bad, but we just can't explain it. We can't, or the more questions than answers pretty much after every performance, right? So if you look at the game, you go, all right, obviously Carlton tried to play a more speedy game style. You could see Zach Williams with that goal to Kerner. Like, I haven't seen Zach Williams do that for Carlton at all. Once.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
That's probably the most impressive play he's done in 5 years, right? And so there's obviously, he's trying to take the game on, then he gets injured in typical Zach Williams fashion. But you could see that the boys were moving the ball with a bit more freedom. They were changing the angles. It looked right. It looked like it should. And we led for most of the game, right? But, I don't know. I can't explain it. Obviously, even the coach can't really explain it, but every second half game that Carlton has played this year, they've gone massively in the red, massively negative. So I think it's like minus 80 points in second half or something across 3 games, which is a big concern. And you go, why aren't Carlton running out games properly? My suspicion is it's Carlton, anytime the team comes and gets close, they go into their shell and they stop playing the right way. And I think it's also, they've only got one way of playing, and once the opposition team looks at that and shuts down, Zach Williams is getting a bit of run, put someone on him, that's it, that's the answer. So they don't have avenues or ways to be creative to keep playing. You look at someone like the Hawks, they can play in so many different ways, right? And they can accelerate and they can decelerate for a bit, catch their breath and go again. Carlton's they just run, they're puffed, they can't go anymore because they've only got one way of winning. And you look at who scored the goals. Kemp kicked 5 goals. Lewis Young, who's like the worst footballer ever, kicked 2.
Even without Mackay, there was support there for Kerner.
Right? And Kerner kicked 3 goals, and he did some nice things like, wind back from, pre-injury Kerner, doing some cool stuff. And you go, wow, if these guys are kicking goals, surely we're winning, right? How many goal kickers were there in the game for Carlton? 4 goal kickers, man.
I'm looking at it right now.
Motlop, right, kicked the first goal in the first minute. No small forward, kicked the goal for the rest of the game.
Yep. And no midfielders.
Nothing, no support. We're relying on 5 goals from Brody Kemp to keep us in a game with the Dogs when they don't have the best player in the competition and another All-Australian in that midfield mix. And a player that we traded away kicks 2 goals, including like one of the winning ones. Like,
he was great.
And
he was good.
Yeah, Kenny's a good player. I've always been a fan, right? But what I'm saying is Carlton has the whole preseason to get their game plan right. After 2 weeks, on the third week, they changed their game style, which goes to show that they've lost faith or they realise that something's not right.
It's like what Essendon did. We just said, they played
And
this fast.
they've gone fast, right? But then they still lost. So then it just leaves you in no man's land. Oh, we've changed it up. Shit, we've realised we've got to do something different. We do something different. It still doesn't work.
Well, you just mentioned the Hawthorn. Hawthorn, we said last week, they trained that chaos ball for a few years and then refined it. Teams that panic like your Essendons, your Carltons right now, trying to play fast. Even Melbourne did it. We'll get to them. If it's not what you've trained, it's just chaos. And it's high variance. It can go well. Like you scored a few nice goals out the back, like you said. And then there was heaps of mistakes as well.
Yeah.
What I did notice, though, at the end, we said, like, Carlton went in their shell a bit. The Dogs, and I saw it firsthand in round one, at the start of that game, they were hitting these 30, 35-metre dart balls up the corridor, switching the ball. Really, like, when you're watching it on TV, you're like, that's a gutsy kick. But then in reality, it's just a 35-metre kick that's just pinpoint. And they did a few, but they just sort of like one kick to the next, into their 50 efficiently and quickly, which Carlton tried, and then there was a few turnovers. So I just think, like, right where the game was in the balance, they didn't go in their shell. They still took on the kick and actually improved it.
Yeah.
And the Carlton players just started fumbling it a bit. And it's a fine margin game at that point. But I think, like, Dogs sort of definitely, in my opinion, took the game when they needed to and won it in the key moments.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole Voss era, Carlton has always been like this. And they've had, within games and within seasons, massive rises and massive letdowns. And that just seems, no matter the year, no matter the result, there always seems to be a part of the season where it's super dramatic. There's never just a flat line. And look, we talk about that Richmond loss, right, which is, the first game of the season. Every game or every round that goes by now, you get more and more context to how bad Richmond actually is. And no matter the team, like Saints destroyed them, Port destroyed them last week. That's what Carlton should have done. Carlton lost. Only Carlton would lose that game.
In that manner, especially.
In that manner. It's just a Carlton thing to do. And you go, why is it a Carlton thing to do? Well, I can't work it out. But it's something in the minds. It's just what Carlton would do. They'd lose it. And when all the fans were describing that performance, words like season ending, coach ending, it was very dramatic. And it was dramatic for a reason, because it threatened to kind of compromise the season. Look at us, we're 0-3, man. And make no mistake, we'll be 0-4. There's no chance we're beating Collingwood. Well, that's as bad as a start as we've had since, rebuild days.
What it tells me, that first Richmond result, not to spend too much time on that one, but if Richmond can do that from that position, suddenly in every game, like you said, the Carlton players will go into their shell and every other team will not give up. And not that they should, but, it's the reality. If you've seen a really poor team achieve something, that's motivation.
Yeah.
And Carlton has it as the opposite of that, which is, fear, maybe a bit of anxiety and so forth. So it's all between the ears as far as I'm concerned.
It has to be, because there's no one's out there saying that Richmond is a better team than Carlton, right? And all of those goals were kind of turnover kicks. So they haven't been able to defeat their mental demons. And I also just don't think that they have the class in the lower half of their list just to be able to do the basic skills and kind of get momentum back.
Well, on that, actually, I did want to shout out. So there was a couple of players that I thought bottom of the Dogs list who really stepped up. So one, I don't know if he's bottom of the list anymore, but Buku Kamas I thought was great. Vandermeer in the clutch moments, great.
Yeah, Latham, shout out to him.
Yep.
Even though I don't like that name, but
oh man,
I like the name, just not the hair.
Call him whatever you want. He played great. Sanders, I know, like he's got a high potential, dominant mid to him in the future, but he's not really top of their structure. Yeah, he was great, like really clean when a lot of players weren't.
Yeah,
and there's just more and more examples you can give, like Davidson out of nowhere. Great, shout out. Right,
he looks like he belongs at AFL level already. It's very impressive.
And not to pick on any particular player, but just look at the example, like the opposite wing. You're looking at an Ollie Hollands, right? Tries his guts out. He's a solid player, but these guys come in from the VFL and dominated him.
Yeah.
So as far as I see, those bottom of your list sort of guys rely on structure and things going well so they can have their positive impact, play their role. If things are a bit chaotic, everything's up for grabs.
Yeah, I agree.
And no one took the moment.
Look, I agree with that 100%. I think the Dogs have started the year fantastically given the circumstances, and they've got a lot of good players to come in. If they can, I think they're playing as a team. I think they've significantly improved actually. So if I'm a Dogs fan, I'm pretty excited. But from a Carlton perspective, I don't even know what's going to happen. The fallout and the pressure that's going to come on this team over the next week, especially because it's going to be Collingwood that's going to add the insult to injury, is insane. But I mean, obviously, sacking Voss is not going to be the answer, even though I think the whole footy world is in agreement that he's not the man, which is crazy, but he probably isn't. But getting rid of him, what does that really do? But then you look at something like the interchanges. You know that we had 63 interchanges this game, which is a season low. So we didn't use our full interchange.
And I read something that Kerno, Walsh and Silvani at one point was stuck on the
for
bench.
like 4 minutes.
And Silvani was playing really well.
Yeah.
Like he had Norton in his pocket and then Norton kicks one of the game-winning goals.
So I just...
Which, by the way, was that a goal? For me, it looked like it might have been a point, but anyway.
Anyway,
who knows?
Whatever. But yeah, you look at that and you go, how can a professional organisation screw that up that hard? Right? And that's where you make, what is this team? What is this coaching? What are they doing? Why can't they come up? And then a player will miss like a basic handball and you go, it's the players. And then you look back at the history of the last 10 years of recruiting and go, it's the recruiting. So you know what it is? It's just everything, man. The club has just got a cancer in it that it needs to cut out, and I don't know how to do it. But I did do a little bit of analysis of the list, and I think we kind of evaluated. There's about 10 or 11 really good players, but there's 10 players that just would not touch another side. Yeah. And I think Carlton needs to be smart about the way that they kind of clean out those players and replace them with class over the next couple of years.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah.
No, well said.
Yeah. On the doggies, just for a little bit, Davidson, we said briefly earlier how good he was. So he had 10 marks. The top disposals 31. So the way he sort of played on the wing and the way he was able to link up the play, right? You have him linking up the play, and then you have Darcy also coming up the ground as well and linking up the play. Both of those dudes are great ways to get into the forward line. You know what I mean? So whether, and Darcy, sometimes he comes out, sometimes he can be a bit deeper. If he's not deeper, Aaron Norton's there. All of a sudden there's a, contested mark there. It's actually like without Jamara, all of a sudden they're way into going into the 50. Like, not going to say it's better without him, but like it still works.
The Darcy point's a great one because you can look at it two ways. You can just play him deep and just plop it on his head and he'll kick a bag each week.
Yeah.
Or you can use him as a means to get forward more efficiently and quickly.
Yeah.
And they're definitely doing that.
Yeah.
And they play with, like I said, they bite off those 35-meter kicks. They'll get that first one out of the defense, second one, and then it's a Darcy outside 50 on the wing. And from there, just anything goes, right? Because someone's run with him. Like, Wiedering will run with him. Something's compromised. Like, you have to go with him with a really good defender. But I think, credit to Bevo, man. He's coaching the hell out of this side at the moment without a few core pieces. So, well done, doggies.
The use of Darcy, such a unique player, I think is really good because like he kicked 2 goals, but he might have been the most impactful player on the day, and that's because of the marks up the field, and that's just bringing the ball forward for him. So I'm super impressed, man, with the way they're going about it, man. Other than that, Matt Kennedy, he brought it. Libba has just he's gone back to like the uber elite player he was maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. And it makes sense because he's the number 1 midfielder right now,
Yeah, he's stepped up.
Yeah, like Richards is great as well, but Libba is still above him. So, we've got to give those players credit where it's due. And there was I think it was Liam Jones had a play where he's running back with the flight and he makes impact. Man, like that's just players putting their body on the line for a team. And that's, so they deserve the win. They deserve the win.
100%. George mentioned earlier, there's no way Carlton wins. He's trying to make the universe have a win.
Man, do we have to, like, another Thursday night game, man? Like, I just want a Sunday afternoon, like, no one's watching type of thing, bro. Huh?
Not happening,
I'm
bro.
sick of these Thursday nights, man.
Chat's going to be hot. All eyes on it.
Bro, the AFL knows, and I swear it's a thing, man. I feel like half the female population of Australia are Carlton fans. And the reason for it is because Carlton, you guys are reality TV. So you're not even a football club at this stage. It's just the drama.
That's a good call, man.
Legit.
We're married at first sight, for football.
Exactly right.
Maps into Thursday night footy.
Yeah, and you got the handsome curly head, Charlie Curnow and
Jack
Paddy Cripps.
Jack Sylvain is a bit of a little of a hottie. Apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Paddy Cripps, it's
allegedly.
Yeah,
allegedly a hottie. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like I think
that's
legit,
a good take, man.
No, that's why they play Thursday nights, mate.
Look, I did like The Bachelor when I was growing up. I enjoyed The Bachelor, but
see, that's influencing your picking team.
I didn't I stopped liking reality TV because I realized it was fake. And I guess Carlton's a bit of a fake football team as well. So there you go, parallels.
Yeah. See, how can they have such stylish, kits? You know what I mean? The navy blue, man. That's
What can I say, man?
Clearly, you know what I mean?
The
It's
only good thing,
manufactured,
the
you
only
know,
good thing
these
about them is their emblem
Yeah, no,
that
it
they
is.
don't play for.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Called
look,
out.
let's be honest, right? Carlton's not winning.
We
this.
have to tip Collingwood. There's
Yeah.
no
But
logic.
it's not that. First of all, Collingwood always beats Carlton.
Yeah.
And Collingwood, for all their faults, are good at playing high pressure games.
Yeah.
Right? They turn up for high pressure. They're not afraid of the moment, and their fans always get them through. Right?
Yeah.
So Carlton's under pressure. It's a massive rivalry, and it's going to be your 85 to 90,000 or more. Right? I don't know if it's a Carlton or Collingwood home game. It probably makes
Pies.
Pies. So big crowd, right? Given the fact that they know they're going to win. How does Carlton win this game, man? How? With their wobbles.
Yeah, no, I can't see
It's
it
hard to
happening.
see a world. I will say this, and I'm happy for this to go on the record. Collingwood is coming off the bye, and last year, teams off the bye, I think if I'm remembering correctly, there was like a thing where they just weren't performing after a bye.
It's Carlton Collingwood, man.
Giants just lost after a bye. I mean, Suns won, but they were playing the atrocious Melbourne side.
Yeah.
So I'll happy to put it on the record. I've half considered Carlton, but I'm going to tip Collingwood.
Yeah, that's it.